This video has a trigger warning. There is a trigger warning for death, dying, and grief. This will be somewhat lighthearted because that's part of my personality, but it will also be kind of heavy and a little sad and includes some of my grief story and some of the things that I've experienced and different things that have happened over the years and how I have dealt with what to do when death happens. Because inevitably, it's going to happen. It just is. Someone you know, someone you love, someone you care for is going to die. And it could be a friend's someone they love, a friend someone they care for, or a friend someone they know. Hi, Olivia. You should read the trigger warning because I love you. So, it is a matter of when, not if. So, I said it out loud. It's going to happen, okay? It's not pretty. It's not fun to think about. And we often don't talk about it together because it's hard and it's scary and we don't know how to interact with the people who are experiencing it. We don't know how to be in the moment there with them. We don't necessarily know how to have a conversation with them about it. And I wanted to do this video partially because we've just come out of a season where a lot of people tend to pass away. It just happens around the holidays, and we're not out of it yet. So this video is a few of the things I do and have done when death happens in my community and around me, and things that I remember helping when death happened in my family, from when I was a teenager to an adult, and just the things that gave me comfort when I felt that they were very supportive, and I felt supported, and I felt loved, and I felt like they were really there for us. One of the questions you get most often when someone passes away is, how are you doing? No, really, how are you doing? Hi, Jenny. You should also read the trigger warning. Hi. So one of the questions we always get is, how are you doing? And they don't say it like that. They say, how are you doing? Or they themselves might be crying, saying, how are you doing? And, when it's really fresh and when someone's just passed away and you ask them, how are they doing? We're really not sure how you want us to answer. We're not sure because we're not really fine, but it's kind of expected that we say fine. What I do, because this is what I wish someone would have said to me when I was a teenager and my dad had just passed away. Instead of the, how are you doing? Or what can I do for you? If someone had just said, can I just sit next to you? Would you like a hug? Do you hand holding? Some kind of human touch contact would have been great. Someone just saying, hey, I know this is really shitty and this really sucks. Can I just sit with you for a little while? And we can just be quiet. You don't have to say anything. We don't have to talk about it. And I want you to know that I'm here for you, and I just want to be with you for a little while until you want me to leave. I guess technically I was 18. I had just turned 18. Like, that would have been absolutely incredible. And I didn't know how much or how impactful that would have been for me until later, when I had people in my life who were experiencing death, and death was happening in their families. And that's what I did, because that's what I wanted. That's all I needed from anyone, was to just have someone acknowledge the pain that I was experiencing, acknowledge the grief, and acknowledge the person that I loved who'd passed away, and gave me an opportunity to just be still with them and to feel supported and held, even if we weren't touching or hugging. That would have just been so amazing for me. So that's something that I, as often as I can, give to people in my life who are experiencing death and grief and dying and all the pain that comes before a person passes away and the pain that comes after, is instead of asking, how are you? Sometimes I still do it. I still totally do it. And I always kick myself afterwards, or I say, it pops out of my mouth. I'm like, nope, I don't actually mean that. I don't want to know how you are. Can I sit with you for a minute? Would you like to be quiet together for a minute? And that's what I do. People do ask me occasionally how they can support someone who's experiencing grief and whatnot. And that's usually my recommendation, is to just acknowledge what's happening. Don't leave it as an elephant. They know the person's passed away. You know the person's passed away. And that's just what's going on in life. And allowing them that space to, whether they want to talk about the person or not, I leave that entirely up to them. And everyone experiences grief differently. Everyone processes it differently. Some people want to talk. Some people will talk your ear off. And they most likely aren't looking for anything. They just, knowing that someone is actively and lovingly listening is really all that is needed. They aren't looking for your input. They're not looking for your advice on how they should handle things, unless, of course, they specifically ask. That's something else I really didn't need as a teenager, was everyone's advice on how I should handle my grief, how I should handle the new baby that I had on top of my father passing away, how I should handle the rest of my life based on the fact that my father was now gone. That was not information I needed, wanted, or asked for. Give people the space to do whatever they need to do, whether it's sitting still, whether it's talking, whether it's celebrating. If that's the kind of person they are, they want to celebrate the person who's passed away. And yeah, this is a really good topic. I like this one. I'm not crying yet, so that's good. And Facebook, you're killing me. Okay, we have to scroll on desktop even, just in case anyone knows. I'm going to take 1 second and I'm going to read Jenny's comments. So Jenny says, when my dad died, social media was a thing, and I had to create a hard boundary on the outpouring of condolences. I posted the following post. Oh, it's really long. I'm not going to read that one out loud, Jenny, because I actually might cry if I read that out loud. So I'm trying to remember. Yes, Beth, I've been thinking about you, so I want you to know that. And what was I thinking about? Oh, so social media, how old was I? I had just turned 18, and social media was not really a thing yet. There weren't, we didn't do baby announcements. We didn't, Facebook, you still had to have, a college email to get an account. And I didn't have that. So I didn't have Facebook. There weren't any of those things when my dad passed away. But we lived in Phoenix, and it was still a very small community because we were in the Irish community. We were in a scouting community. And then with the schools I went to, it was also a very close, small community with a fair amount of overlap. So that it was a lot of condolences and support, and not, sometimes I think, not, this is maybe an unpopular opinion, but when we're expressing condolences and things on social media, it's kind of easy to be passive about it. We can be passive about how we interact with another person's grief and with their grief story, especially sharing things ahead of a family sharing that someone's passed away, or ahead of sharing a specific story. And it's a whole different world navigating grief journeys on social media. It's very strange. So my heart goes out to everyone who's moving forward and who already has experienced any kind of there isn't a proper word to describe, I think, how people probably feel and how I've heard after the fact that people feel when things go awry on Facebook posts with grief. Now I've kind of gone off the rails, but that's kind of what I was thinking about tonight. I've been thinking a lot about this with new people that are coming into my life that are experiencing grief, and knowing that what I am doing as with the Legacy Recorder, as the Legacy Lady, is constantly reminding people that death happens. It's a real thing. It's not going away. And I think how we approach it, how those left behind approach it, and how we honor the person who's passed, honor the people that will pass. That's really what my storytelling is about. That's my, I don't want to say passion, but when it comes to the core of Legacy, it's how do we honor this life we have right now? And how do we honor the life next to us? And how do we honor the life across the table from us, even if we only have 5 minutes with them? And what can that interaction look like to make the last 5 minutes of their life, the next 5 minutes, whatever the time is that they have left, how can we make those moments on this earth better? And I'm going to scroll some more. You're fine, Jenny. Hi, Megan. So yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this up because I feel like I'm running into rambling territory and my heart's beating really fast. So thank you everyone who came through and commented, and I hope that if you needed to run from, like, you heeded the trigger warning and you ran, if you're watching this video later, you're perfect and wonderful right where you are in your grief journey. It's different for everyone. Some people want to talk about things right away, and some people have to take some time. I, over in this corner, didn't start processing my grief until, I don't know, 7 years after my dad passed away, when things finally slowed down enough that I could actually think. And then it was like, oh crap, here, hold on, let me deal with all this stuff I didn't deal with while I was a teenager raising a couple babies. So wherever you are in your grief journey, you've got this. And the person sitting next to you loves you. The ones that don't say the right thing or don't know what to say or make you feel like shit when this really shitty stuff is going on, they don't mean it. They just don't know what to say. And that's okay. They love you, okay? So I will do a summary. Things I do when death happens. I make space for the person who's left behind, and I'll give them the opportunity to do whatever they need to do, whether it's rant and rave, whether it's cry, whether it's talk, whether it's be silent. I honor whatever they need. I do my darndest to not ask them how they're doing. I acknowledge the shitty shit that's going on, and out loud say, it really sucks this happened. Can I just sit with you? Or would you like some company? Or can I check on you in a couple days? Or whatever it is. They have enough going on. They don't need to manage your emotions. They don't need to try to meet your expectation of how fast they should be over this or back to normal. All of those terms are crazy and irrelevant and not helpful. Okay? So those are the things I do, and I really enjoyed this live stream. So thank you very much for coming to hang out. This is, in fact, a hard topic. So yes. All right. So this is Gail, the Legacy Lady, and it has been wonderful talking with you, and I cannot wait to see you on the next episode. And in the meantime, happy writing. You've been watching an episode of The Legacy Lady talking possibly legacy after dark, and this is it. This is the end of the video. I would love if you would subscribe, and even better, share this video with someone you love. I will see you on the next video, and in the meantime, happy writing.